Hello, dear friends. Today we will read a story Rapunzel. Once in the days gone by, there was a German couple. The pair was childless due to wife's poorest health. She badly needed some special herb like rampions called Rapunzel in German. It was very useful and healthy in nature. The distressed woman longed for the herb. She was helpless. She came to know of the Rapunzel at last, but the lucky Rapunzel was available in a garden that belonged to a witch. The anxious wife was all the more pensive, for none could dare enter the garden. Grief stricken as she was, the lady was getting thinner and paler day by day. Her husband got alarmed at the deteriorating condition of his wife. Knowing the reason, he made up his mind to go into the garden to fetch some rampions one evening. He reached the garden and took away a few leaves for his wife. The wife was very glad to see them and eat them, but there was no result. The grief increased. The husband once again went into the garden the following day to fetch some more rampions. But this time he happened to meet the furious witch. He was ruthlessly to meet charged with trespassing. Anyway, the husband was wise and patient. He explained the real story. This calmed the anger of the witch. The witch then put a condition before the man that he was at liberty to take as much plants as he desired, but he ought to be prepared to give the witch his first child. Reluctantly, the deal was done between the husband and the witch. Everything went positively. A handsome girl baby was born and handed over to the witch as promised. The baby was named Rapunzel after the rampions. Rapunzel, already grown up, then got a very shabby treatment at the hands of the bad natured witch. She was kept in a tower. The tower had no door except a small window at the top. Whenever the witch wanted to meet the Rapunzel, she could call Rapunzel to down her long plaited hair through the window and she could just walk up to the top and back. This was the routine affair of the witch. As good luck would have it, one day a prince was passing by when he heard Rapunzel singing a sweet song at the top of the tower. The very moment he saw an old witch calling Rapunzel to down her long plaited braid to be up there at the top of tower and back. The prince saw everything and decided to meet the beautiful Rapunzel in the evening. That evening, the prince put his plan into action, doing the same as the old witch. Hearing the calling voice, Rapunzel downed her long braided hair, and the prince got up too. Seeing a prince in front was somewhat fearful, but soon became bold, noticing the decent princely gesture. Eventually, they fell in love. It was then a routine evening meeting of the two loving souls. During one of the meetings, they planned to go to the kingdom and get married there in the castle. The prince requested Rapunzel to be ready the following evening to fly from the tower into the castle. To execute his plan, the prince consoled Rapunzel that he would come with silken ropes for the purpose. The other side, the wick, which one way or the other got the scent of the prince meeting with Rapunzel. It was more than she could bear. She flew into rag and shifted Rapunzel from the top to the bottom of the tower, accusing the damsel never to be in a position to meet the prince. She told further that Prince too would never be able to see Rapunzel because he would be turned blind, unmindful of the thing that happened there. The prince came to execute his planned flight at night. He came face to face under the witch's spell. He became blind, wandering hither and thither through the mountainous terrain in search of his maiden in love. Days went by. One day, while strolling about, he heard the sweet song of Rapunzel. He thus stirred from within, ran towards the direction of the song. The lady in love recognized the prince and she threw herself into his arm. The scene was moving. Her pure, spontaneous, joyful tear dropped on to the prince's eyes, removed the blindness together. They warmly cheered and greeted each other and jubilantly returned to the castle. There they celebrate their wedlock with all stately pomp and show and live happily ever thereafter.